Dear students, let us start the third module in analog circuits, that is feedback amplifiers and power amplifier. Okay. First we need to know the importance of feedback, why the feedback is required. So usually there are two types of feedback. One is negative feedback and the other one is positive feedback. So feedback can either be negative, which is called as degenerative, or positive, it is called as regenerative. In an amplifier design, negative feedback is applied to affect one or more of the following properties. So these are the properties which are effective when we apply the negative feedback. So what is the first property? Desensitize the gain. That is, make the value of the gain less sensitive to the variation in the value of the circuit component. To make the circuit less sensitive to the circuit components, we can use the negative feedback. Okay. So and such might be caused by changes in temperature. Okay. So then the second one is reduce non-linear distortion. That is, make the output proportional to the input. So non-linear distortion will be reduced by applying the negative feedback, that is output is proportional to the input provided. Then the third property is reduce the effect of noise. That is, it will minimize the contribution of noise to the output signal. Unwanted electric signal is minimized in the output signal. Then the fourth property is control the input and output impedance. That is, we can sometimes require the high impedance or the low impedance. That is, we are able to raise or lower the input and output impedance by the selection of appropriate feedback topology. And the last property is extend the bandwidth of the amplifier. We can extend the bandwidth of the amplifier by using this feedback, negative feedback. So here comes the general feedback structure. So this is the diagram. So here we have a source. So the signal is source that is originated from the source. We call it as a XS. Okay. So here we have a gain of the amplifier. Okay. So here we have the output. The input to the gain block is Xi and the output is X0. And here is the load. We are measuring the output near the load. Okay. So from the load again there is a factor called beta. Okay, feedback factor. So we are giving the signal that is called as XF, that is feedback signal. So note down here, X can either be a voltage or it can be a current signal. X in the sense it may be voltage signal or it may be a current signal. Okay. So note down here, Xi is XS minus XF. XS is the source signal minus feedback signal is our input signal, and output signal X0 is nothing but input signal multiplied by the gain factor, that is A into Xi. Okay. Similarly, the feedback signal XF can be given by the that is feedback factor beta into the input to this block is X0. So beta into X0 is equal to XF. So this is what the general feedback structure. Okay. So the open loop amplifier has a gain A. So this is an open loop amplifier. It is having a gain A. Thus its output X0 is related to the input Xi by, so the expression what we discussed. Okay. X0 is given by Xi into gain. Okay. X0 is equal to Xi into gain factor is A. Similarly, the feedback can be given as the feedback factor beta into X0. Beta into X0 is our XF. Next, Xi is the source signal minus feedback signal. So Xi is source signal minus feedback signal. Okay. So here we are interested in writing the overall, that is feedback amplifier, gain of the feedback amplifier. So overall gain of the feedback amplifier is represented by the term AF, Okay, so what is the, again look at this diagram. So what is the output we are obtaining, that is x naught. What is the input we have provided, that is xs. So overall feedback gain is nothing but x naught divided by xs. Okay, so overall gain of the feedback amplifier AF is nothing but the ratio of x naught over xs. Okay, so what is x naught? X naught is equal to A into Xi, that is from the previous expression, A into Xi. Okay, what is Xs? So Xs, from this third expression, Xs can be written as Xi plus Xf. Okay, again Xf can be written from 8.2, that is beta into x naught. Okay, so after that we'll take the terms common, and again what is x naught? X naught is equal to gain into input signal A into Xi. Again we are substituting this. So again taking the terms in common, Xi if we take outside cancels, only we remain with A divided by 1 plus A into beta. So this is the what? Gain of the feedback amplifier. So gain of the feedback amplifier is A divided by 1 plus A into beta, where A is the gain factor and B is the feedback factor. The quality A beta is called the loop gain. So usually call A beta is called the loop gain, a name that follows from the figure. For the feedback to be negative, the loop gain A beta should be positive. So this A beta loop gain should always be positive. This feedback signal AF should have a same sign as AS. So feedback signal XF, not AF. The feedback signal XF and XS must be of the same sign. That means if this is positive, it should also be positive. If XF is negative, XS must also be negative. Thus resulting in a smaller signal difference, that is Xi. So equation 8.4, what is our 8.4 expression? This one. The overall gain of the feedback amplifier is A divided by 1 plus A beta will be smaller than the open loop gain A. So this is a open loop gain A. AF will be smaller than A by the quantity 1 plus A beta. From this expression only we can say that AF will be smaller by the quantity of A because AF is A divided by something. Okay, if the value is 10 divided by 2 means value is 5. Like that, if the gain is 10, then the AF value is divided by some factor, means AF will always be less than the gain A, which is called the amount of feedback. So this is called 1 plus A beta. It is also called as amount of feedback. Okay, so now if we consider the three expression 8.1 to 8.3, so we can write the feedback XF as this. So how we are obtaining this expression? So it is written here. We have feedback signal XF is equal to beta into X naught and X naught is equal to A into Xi. It is from the previous expression. So therefore we write XF as, so here I write X naught as A into Xi. So beta instead of X naught A Xi. So and after that what is Xi? So Xi is different signal, that is Xs minus Xi. Okay. So if I substitute in the above expression, we are getting this expression. Okay. So and I am sending this XF term on LHS. So I am taking XF term on outside. So it is remaining here 1, negative. If it comes to LHS, it will be plus. A beta is the term which is remaining. So RHS, the first term as it is, we are writing. So XF is equal to what? A beta into XS divided by this term is sent to RHS, that is 1 plus A beta. So this is the term what we obtained. Okay. So thus for A beta is very much greater than 1. So we can say that XF is So when this term a beta is very much greater than 1, okay, so numerator and denominator will be cancelled. So we can say that xf is just is equal to xs, which implies that xi, that is, what is xi? Xi is the difference between xf and xs signal. So the input of the basic amplifier is reduced to 0. So this xi signal will be 0 when this a beta term is very much greater than 1. So thus, if a large case of negative feedback is employed, the feedback signal xf becomes an almost identical replica of the input signal xs. Okay, so this feedback signal is just the replication of the input signal that is applied, that is xs. An outcome of this property is tracking of two input terminals of the op-amp, that is the difference xs and xf, which is xi. What is xi? Xi is the difference between the xs and xf, and it is referred as error signal, as it is a difference between the feedback signal and the source signal that we applied. So difference between the feedback signal and the source signal gives us the xi, and it is sometimes referred as an error signal. Accordingly, the input differencing circuit is also called comparison circuit. So here comes the circuit. So input differencing circuit, what is xi? Xi is xs minus the feedback signal xf. So this circuit is also called as comparison circuit. Okay, so now we'll come back to the expression. Okay, so we can determine xi easily by this expression. What is x naught? The output signal x naught can be found as gain into the input, that is xi. Similarly, what is feedback? Feedback is beta into x naught, as we discussed in the previous slide. Okay, therefore what we can write, xi can be written as x naught divided by the gain a. Okay, so what is a? So a can be what is x naught? So x naught, from the second expression we can write xf divided by beta. So substituting for x naught as xf by beta, so now the expression is this one. Okay, so therefore we can write xi is equal to what? So now from this expression, okay, so what is feedback signal? So what is xi signal? That is xf divided by, what is xf? Here comes the equation 8.5, that is our xf signal. So we need to divide this expression by beta a. So this expression divided by a beta or beta a. So what happens? Numerator terms divided by denominator term cancel. So we remain with 1 divided by 1 plus a beta into xs. Okay. So therefore this term 1 plus a beta is called as amount of feedback. Why it is called as amount of feedback? Because our input signal xi is reduced by the source signal, that is, what is the signal that we applied? Xs, that is the signal we applied from the source. But the same signal xs is not applied. So what is applied is xi. What is xi? The different signal. So this xi is the input signal divided by some factor 1 plus, it is reduced by this factor, what is called 1 plus a beta. So therefore it is called as amount of feedback. So now we move for the properties of negative feedback. So in that, the first one is gain desensitivity. So sensitivity reduction property can be analytically established as follows. Assume that beta is constant. Taking differentiation on both sides of the expression 8.4 results in this expression. So what is 8.4? We'll have a quick look. So this is our 8.4 expression, that is gain of the feedback amplifier AF is given by A divided by 1 plus A beta. Okay, so we'll come back. So AF is equal to gain divided by 1 plus A beta. So directly they have taken the differentiation solution. So how we obtain this dA divided by 1 plus A beta whole square? So you'll see here. So we have this expression, the gain expression AF is equal to the gain of the amplifier A divided by 1 plus A beta. So when we take differentiation on both sides by assuming beta is constant, so differentiation on left side, so dAf. So differentiation on right side is in u by v form. So differentiation of u by v is denominator square plus differentiation of denominator into numerator minus differentiation of numerator into denominator. Okay, so we are applying the same technique here. So denominator square, so 1 plus A beta square into denominator is 1 plus A beta into differentiation of numerator is dA. Okay, minus, so numerator as it is, so numerator A as it is into differentiation of denominator of 1 is 0, so we have kept 0 as it is. Differentiation of second term, here beta is assumed as constant, beta into differentiation of A is dA. Okay, so next, so we are taking the same term, first term as it is, 1 plus A beta into dA. So now we split up, so A into 0, it is 0, so here plus into minus, A beta into dA. So again we will split up this first term, so it will be dA into 1 dA, so A beta into dA is A beta dA, so this term as it is, plus A beta dA minus A beta dA cancels, so we remain with dAf is equal to dA divided by 1 plus A beta square. Okay, so again what they are doing, dividing this expression by the original expression is AF is equal to A divided by 1 plus A beta, which results in this expression. So okay, this dAf divided by, here left side AF is there. Okay, so RHS side, so this expression dA divided by 1 plus A beta divided by this. Okay, divided by, so we can take it as a multiplication by reciprocating the terms. So it is when reciprocal of this first term is 1 plus A beta divided by A. So here the numerator and the square term cancel, so we remain with dA divided by A into 1 divided by 1 plus A beta. Okay, we'll come back. So when we divide this expression divided by 8.4, so we obtain this expression. So from this they are making one point. So what is that, which says that percentage change in AF. What is percentage change in AF? dAf by AF, we call it as a percentage change in AF is smaller than the percentage change in A. dA by A is called as percentage change in A. Why it is smaller than A? So because it is dA by A divided by the amount of feedback 1 plus A beta. So therefore this term dAf by AF is always smaller than the value of dA by A. So for this reason we call 1 plus A beta till now we know it as a amount of feedback. Now it is also called as desensitivity factor. So now we'll come back to the topic for bandwidth extension in this topic. So now we'll discuss bandwidth extension. So consider an amplifier whose high frequency response is characterized by single pole. Its gain at mid and high frequency can be expressed as, okay, so here A of S, it is considered as a single pole term. So by using the mid band frequency, so this high frequency term, it is expressed as A of S is equal to AM divided by 1 plus S divided by omega h. This is the basic expression for a single pole model. So then we are deriving for the high frequency. Then where AM denotes the mid band gain, omega h is the upper 3 dB frequency. This is omega h is upper 3 dB frequency. Application of negative feedback with frequency independent factor beta around this amplifier results in a closed loop gain AFF of S is given as AF of S is equal to A of S divided by 1 plus beta into A of S. So now in this expression we are substituting the above expression. So for that I am making use of this slide. So this is the first expression, this is the second expression. We are substituting equation 1 in equation 2. So therefore the equation 2 becomes AF of S is equal to, so in place of A of S I am substituting AM divided by 1 plus S divided by omega H, okay, divided by 1 as it is plus beta as it is. Now again in place of A of S I am writing AM divided by 1 plus S divided by omega H, okay. So then what we are doing, multiplying numerator and denominator by this term, that is 1 plus S by omega. So what happens, so here in the numerator these two terms cancels, so we remain with numerator only AM divided by, so when we come to the denominator here 1 into this term, so we will write 1 plus S divided by omega H plus, so here denominator and this term cancel, so we remain with only beta into AM, okay. So again we write together 1 plus beta into AM, so this is grouped, okay, and separately we are writing S plus omega H. So now what we are doing, dividing both numerator and denominator by the term 1 plus AM into beta. AM is midband gain, beta is the feedback factor. So now we are, for this expression, dividing numerator and denominator by this factor 1 plus AM beta. So which results in AM divided by 1 plus AM beta divided by, so here the first term will be 1 plus S divided by omega H, here in the denominator 1 plus AM into beta. So this is what we got here, okay. So thus the feedback of the amplifier will have midband gain of AM divided by 1 plus AM beta and an upper 3 dB frequency WHF is given by, so upper 3 dB frequency omega HF, not WHF, so omega HF upper 3 dB frequency is given by omega H into 1 plus AM beta. So upper 3 dB frequency is given by omega H into 1 plus AM beta, this factor 1 plus AM beta. So this is the additional term which is added. So it follows that upper 3 dB frequency is increased by a factor equal to the amount of feedback. So this is actually the amount of feedback by the same factor, upper 3 dB frequency is increased. So similarly, if the open loop gain is characterized by dominant low frequency pole, okay, so then we can prove that. So here we have derived for upper 3 dB frequency WHF, so omega HF high frequency. Now if we derive for omega low frequency, so we can write omega LF, lower 3 dB frequency omega LF is written as omega L divided by 1 plus AM into beta, okay. So now that amplifier bandwidth is increased by the same factor by which the midband gain is decreased, maintaining the gain bandwidth product as a constant value. Okay, next topic is noise reduction, how we are going to reduce the noise. So here we are considering the application of negative feedback to improve the signal to noise ratio in the amplifier. So consider the first circuit. This is the source what we are applying, okay. This is the input which is considered. So this is the gain A1, okay. This is the output, okay. This is the gain of the amplifier, okay. So here the two blocks are there. Here this block gain is, amplifier block gain is A1, this amplifier gain is A2. So here we have a feedback block, so that is beta. So So negative feedback can be employed to reduce the noise or interference. So why we are applying this negative feedback? So it is just to minimize the noise, okay, and so as to increase the signal to noise ratio. So here in the previous figure what we discussed, so amplifier with gain A1 and input signal Vs and noise or interference Vn, it is assumed that for some reason this amplifier suffers from the noise. That noise can be assumed to be introduced at the input of an amplifier. So therefore signal to noise ratio of this amplifier is Vs divided by Vn. So because this is our signal what we are applying, Vs. So in the input itself the noise gets added. So that is what the signal Vn. So signal to noise ratio is signal voltage and the noise voltage Vs divided by Vn. Okay. So here is our input Vs. So here the noise gets added. This is the one more source that is added, unwanted signal that gets added. So gain of the amplifier is given A1. This is the output. So we can write signal to noise ratio as what? Vs divided by Vn at the input itself, Vs divided by Vn. This is our signal to noise ratio. So next we are applying what? Negative feedback. So this is the feedback circuit that we are applying here. That is the feedback factor beta is applied here. So here we assume that it is possible to build another amplifier stage with A2 that does not suffer from the noise problem. If in this case, then we may precede our original amplifier A1 by the clean amplifier A2. So what we are doing? So original amplifier A1 is as it is. So this Vn A1. So this one is as it is we are keeping. Before this we are adding one more amplifier which is called as pre-amplification. So what is gain of this pre-amplifier? A2. So here actually we are applying the input signal from the source, that is Vs. Okay. So pre-amplifier is added in the circuit here. So clean amplifier A2 and apply the negative feedback around the overall cascade of such an almost as to keep the overall gain constant. The output of the circuit in the figure 8.2b can be found by superposition theorem. So here the output expression Vout can be found by applying the superposition theorem. So what is superposition theorem? So first we are considering only Vs source is acting alone. Then we assume that the second source is not at all acting. So what happens? The second source Vn is connected as short circuit. When voltage source is 0, so we can keep it as a short circuit. So then, we'll measure the output. So this output is only having the input term, that is Vs. So that is our first term. Okay, output. The first term is our output expression. So this is the input divided by the factor amount of feedback 1 plus A1 A2 into beta. Okay, so then there are two amplifiers when this is considered. This input is considered. These two amplifiers are connected. Okay, so that's why this one. Then the second term, for the second case, superposition theorem. So first source is not acting alone, only the second source is acting alone. So Vout is only due to this acting alone, Vn source is acting alone. So here what are the amplifier block considered? Only this one, A1. So what we'll write? Vn is equal to A1 divided by amount of feedback is 1 plus A1 A2 into beta. So thus the signal to noise ratio at the output becomes, signal to noise ratio is equal to Vs divided by Vn into A2. Okay. So here, so what was our thing? That is to reduce the noise. So here what happens? The noise output will be reduced when you compare with the previous expression. So signal, this is multiplied by the gain. Okay, that is signal numerator term is more than the denominator. Why? Because we are multiplying with the another block of the clean amplifier. Okay, so that's why we are getting this. So our aim is achieved, that is our noise is reduced by introducing this pre-amplifier in the circuit. Signal to noise ratio is more, multiplied by A2 means signal to noise ratio is more, that is signal voltage is more than the noise voltage when we compare with 8.13 expression with the 8.15 expression. So the next topic is reduction in non-linear distortion. So we need to reduce non-linear distortion that is introduced in the amplifier circuit. So here is one graph. Okay, so that is illustrating the application of negative feedback to reduce the non-linear distortion. Here you can find the two curves, curve A and curve B. So curve A, curve A is this curve which shows the amplifier transfer characteristics without feedback. So this is the curve without feedback, and the curve B shows the characteristics with negative feedback when beta is equal to 0.01 applied. So this B curve is the one when feedback circuit gets added. So this is without, A is without feedback, B is with feedback. So curve A shows the transfer characteristics of an amplifier. As indicated, the characteristics is piecewise linear with the voltage gain changing from 1000 to 100 and then to 0. So here the voltage curve A, the voltage gain is a piecewise linear. So here one, second one, third one linear only, piecewise linear. Okay. So whereas the curve B is almost linearized. Okay, right, and then to 0. So this non-linear transfer characteristics will result in amplifier generating a large amount of non-linear distortion. So this characteristics may add a large amount of non-linear distortion. The amplifier transfer characteristics can be considerably linearized through the application of negative feedback. So now when the negative feedback is applied, so as you can see in the curve B, it is almost linearized when you compare with the curve A. Lot of it is just like a piecewise linear model. So that is, this is possible, should not be too surprising, since we have already seen that negative feedback reduces the dependence of overall closed loop amplifier gain on the open loop gain of the basic amplifier. So thus the large changes in open loop gain, that is 1000 to 100 in this case, give rise to much smaller corresponding change in the closed loop gain. So here also gain changes, but it's very less corresponding to the curve A. So to illustrate this, let us take the negative feedback with beta is equal to 0.01 to the amplifier whose open loop voltage transfer characteristics is depicted in the figure. So the resulting transfer characteristics of the closed loop amplifier is given in the curve B. Okay, so this is the 8.3. So curve A and curve B. So this is with feedback. Okay, so here is the expression AF1. So it is found for 1000. So we are getting 90.9. Similarly, when the slope of the next segment is given by AF2 for 100, we are, so therefore when the gain of the amplifier is considered as 100, okay, so we are obtaining the gain AF2 is 50. Okay, so why? Because the gain expression AF is A divided by 1 plus A beta. Okay, here when A is considered as 1000, we are getting this. When A is considered as 100 with beta value is 0.0, in both the case we are getting 50. So thus the order of the magnitude change in the slope has been considerably reduced. So what happened here, just by changing this gain, we have got considerably reduced gain. The price paid, of course, is the reduction of voltage gain. Thus if overall gain has to be restored, then preamplifier should be added. So without the preamplifier, what happens? The gain might reduce. So in order to cover this, we are connecting a preamplifier. So that is why we are connected preamplifier in this circuit. Okay, the purpose of connecting this preamplifier is because, as we discussed in this expression, the gain is reduced. To increase this gain, so we are adding that preamplifier. Thus, if the overall gain has to be restored, then a preamplifier should be added. So this preamplifier should not present a severe non-linear distortion. We should also take care that this preamplifier should not present any non-linear distortion. So finally, it should be noted that negative feedback can do nothing at all about the amplifier saturation, since in saturation the gain is very small and hence the amount of feedback is also very small. So our next topic is feedback topologies. So here we will discuss different feedback topologies. So in that, basically we will discuss 4 feedback topologies. First one is voltage amplifier, and then we will discuss current amplifier, then transconductance amplifier, and last we will discuss trans resistance amplifier. So first one is a voltage amplifier. So what is voltage amplifier? Here we will consider voltage as the input and we will consider output also voltage. So input voltage is amplified. So output voltage we are getting, input voltage is amplified by the factor of the gain of an amplifier. So here the feedback network is given. So this is a simple circuit of a voltage amplifier. So voltage amplifier are intended to amplify an input voltage signal and provide an output voltage signal. The voltage amplifier is essentially a voltage controlled voltage source. So it is what? Voltage controlled voltage source. Here a dependent, what is the voltage? Here VF, voltage across the feedback is VF. So it is a voltage controlled voltage source. So output voltage is, here is the input voltage. It is controlled by the input voltage what we are applying. Voltage controlled voltage source, the input impedance is required to be high and the output impedance is required to be low. So this is the condition. The input impedance must be as high as possible and output impedance is as low as possible. Since the signal source is essentially a voltage source, it is convenient to represent in terms of Thevenin equivalent circuit. So where we are considering both input and output side, the signal source is voltage source. So therefore we need to represent it in terms of a Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So in a voltage amplifier, the output quantity of interest is the output voltage. It follows that feedback network should sample the output voltage. So here the output voltage, it should sample, the feedback network should sample the output voltage. So also because of the Thevenin representation of the source, the feedback signal XF should be voltage that can be mixed with the source voltage in series. So what happens here? This signal, that is feedback signal, that should be mixed with the input signal, okay, and then it is applied to the basic voltage amplifier. So, okay, XS is mixed with the feedback, that is in which manner? That is in which manner? Series. Okay, voltage should be mixed with the source voltage in series. So suitable feedback topology for voltage amplifier is a voltage mixing voltage sampling one, shown in 8.4a. So that is this diagram. Okay, so here the input side it is series connection, whereas at the output side it is parallel connection. So parallel connection feedback circuit, port 2 dash, it is connected to voltage amplifier port 2 dash. Okay, here the below port 2, it is also, these two are connected parallelly. So whereas at the input side of the feedback circuit it is connected serially. So hence it is also called as series shunt feedback. So this topology not only stabilizes the voltage gain but also results in a higher input impedance and lower output resistance, which are desirable properties of the voltage amplifier. So this is very simple, that is voltage amplifier. Remember, it is series shunt. Okay. Next is current amplifier. Okay. So here you can see that input is also current, the source side also it is the current IS. So output side also we are drawing the in current only. So input is also current, output is also current, so it is called as current amplifier. Okay. So our input is amplified by the factor provided by this block. Okay, here is the feedback. So here just observe, input side, okay, feedback network is connected parallelly, shunt connection. So whereas feedback network at the output side it is connected serially, so it is called as shunt series. Okay. The input signal is a current amplifier is essentially a current, and thus the signal source is most conveniently represented by its Nortons. When it is a voltage, so we are writing Thevenin's equivalent network. Since it is a current, we are writing Norton's equivalent. So the output quantity of interest is current, hence the feedback network should be sampled the output current. The feedback signal should be in current form, so it may be mixed in shunt with the source current. Okay, so it may be mixed in shunt with the source current. So this feedback current is mixed with the shunt parallel connection with the source current. Thus the feedback topology suitable for current amplifier is current mixing current sampling topology that was illustrated in the diagram. So because of the parallel connection at the input and the series connection at the output, this topology, as I said earlier, it is also called as what? Shunt series. Because of shunt or parallel connection at the input side and series connection at the output side, it is called as shunt series, okay, feedback. So as it will be shown, this topology not only stabilizes the current gain but also results in a lower input resistance, and this is the one more advantage, like in our voltage amplifier, this results in actually lower input resistance and higher output resistance, both desirable properties for current amplifier. For current amplifier, this is a desirable property. Whereas for voltage amplifier, look at here, we should have higher input impedance for voltage amplifier and lower output impedance, whereas here it is reverse, lower input impedance and higher output, vice versa as in case of voltage amplifier. So here as an example, they are considered this circuit, the transistor amplifier with shunt series feedback. So at the input side it is connected parallelly, the current, whereas at the output side it is serially connected. Okay. Example of shunt series feedback topology is shown here. Note that bias details are not shown. Also note that currents being sampled is not the output current but the equal current flowing from the source of Q2. Okay, output current is the current that is flowing from the source terminal of the transistor Q2. So that is so the next topology is this one, that is transconductance amplifier. Okay, the third topology is transconductance amplifier. Here we have the input as voltage, output as current, I by V. So I by V is called as transconductance, therefore it is called as a transconductance amplifier. What is the another thing that we note here? The feedback network at the input side also it is connected in series, At the output side, the feedback network is also connected in series. So therefore it is called as a series. So in transconductance amplifier, the input signal is voltage and the output signal is current. So it follows that appropriate feedback topology is voltage mixing, current sampling topology. It is called as voltage mixing and current sampling. Okay. The presence of the series connection at both the input and output gives the feedback topology the alternative name series feedback. So this is what, here also it is connected in series, here also it is connected in series, so it is called as series feedback. And it is voltage mixing. So why? Because the feedback signal is mixed with this source signal, and this is current sampling. Okay. So an example of this feedback is shown in next slide. That is, note down that the circuit, the sampled current is not the output current but almost equal to the emitter current of Q3. So it is, the output current is the emitter current. This is the BJT transistor. So this, here we are considering the emitter current as our output current. In addition, the mixing loop is not a conventional one. It is not a simple series connection, since the feedback signal developed across RE1 is the emitter circuit of Q1. So RE1, so here the emitter resistance. Okay. Feedback signal developed across RE1 is the emitter circuit of Q1. Okay. The source is in the base circuit of Q1. These two approximation are done for convenience of the circuit event. So here what we are doing, so mixing loop is not a conventional one. Why? Because this RE1 is also emitter of this Q1. Okay, so that's why this mixing loop is not appropriate. So the next topology, and the last topology here is trans resistance amplifier. Here the output is voltage whereas the input is current, V by I. So therefore it is called as a trans resistance amplifier, output by input, V by I. And one more thing we need to note down here is the feedback at the input side of the amplifier, it is connected parallelly. As you can see here, the port 1, the above port 1 is connected to port 1, whereas 1 dash is connected to this one. It is connected parallelly. Likewise, the port 2 at the output side also it is connected in parallelly. Therefore, it is called as a shunt connection. So in the trans resistance amplifier, the input signal is current whereas the output signal is voltage. Input signal is current and the output is voltage. It follows that the appropriate feedback topology is of the current mixing and voltage sampling. So here what is done? The source current is mixed with the feedback current. Okay, current mixing and voltage sampling. Okay. The presence of the parallel connection at both input and the output makes this feedback topology the name shunt feedback. So as an example of the feedback topology, so we are considering the next circuit, inverting op-amp configuration. Okay, and the circuit is redrawn in the next with the source converted in the Norton's form. So here, so this is the circuit. It is just the example of what? Inverting amplifier. Why it is inverting amplifier? This is the negative terminal, inverting op-amp. So here we are applying our input signal. Okay, here the feedback resistance is connected. So the same circuit, Norton's equivalent circuit. Why? Because our input is current, output is voltage. So therefore we need to connect the input source as current source. So the current source Is can be written as Vs divided by Rs. Okay, so rest all it is same. So this is the example of trans resistance amplifier. So next our discussion is the series shunt feedback amplifier. Okay. we'll move for series shunt feedback amplifier. So this only quantitative analysis is there for your syllabus. So ideal situation. So this is what series shunt feedback amplifier. You can see that this is a feedback circuit, so therefore it is called as a beta circuit. This is a gain of the amplifier circuit, that's why it is called as a circuit. So feedback circuit at the input side is connected in series type. Okay, so whereas the feedback circuit at the output side, it is connected parallelly, as you can see here. Port 2, above port is connected to above port, below port is connected to below port. So therefore it is a parallel connection, whereas here it is a series connection. Therefore it is called as series shunt feedback amplifier. Okay, so note down what is the input, Vs. Okay, so what is the output, Vout. Okay, beta, this is a dependent voltage source. Okay, beta into where Vout, where Vout is shown here. Okay, so here the voltage source is there, it is given as A into Vf4, A into V1. So here is the V1 which is given across the R1. So this is a feedback voltage, that is Vf. So this is the series shunt feedback amplifier, and this is the ideal small signal equivalent circuit of the amplifier. Okay, so input signal is Vs, output signal is Vout. This is the input resistance, output resistance. In series we are connecting a dependent voltage source whose value is AF. So ideal structure of the series shunt feedback amplifier is shown in this diagram 8.8. This is the first diagram, 8 diagram. So it consists of a unilateral open loop amplifier and an ideal voltage mixing, voltage sampling feedback network. The A circuit has an input resistance Ri and a voltage gain A and an output resistance R0. It is assumed that source and load resistance have been included inside the A circuit. Further note that beta circuit does not load the A circuit, and this is connecting beta circuit does not change the value of A. So as defined, Vout is equal to VR. So next we consider the A circuit, that is the circuit itself. Okay, so it follows that ideal feedback model, that is basic feedback model, it is exactly the same. The closed loop voltage gain AF is given by Vout by Vs. So we can write A divided by 1 plus A beta, since this is similar to our basic circuit. Note that A and beta have reciprocal units. This in fact is always the case, resulting in a dimensionless loop gain of A beta. So equivalent circuit model of a series shunt feedback amplifier is given in 8b. So this is the small signal equivalent circuit of the model of series shunt feedback amplifier. So in this, if RIF and ROF denote the input and output resistance with feedback, then the relationship between RIF and RI can be established by considering the circuit A. So RIF can be written as Vs by II. Okay, RIF can be written by Vs by II. This is called as input resistance. Okay, Vs by II. And what is II? Input voltage Vi divided by input resistance Ri. Okay, so then what is this denominator is taken at the numerator. So and what is Vs? Vs is equal to Vi into A beta into Vi. So that is source, what is the voltage we applied near the source terminal is 1 plus A beta into input. Okay, so that is the thing we are writing. So RIF can be written as, if we take the terms common, okay, this Vi denominator Vi cancels, so we'll get Ri is equal to 1 plus A beta. So that is, in this case, the negative feedback increases the input resistance by the factor equal to the amount of feedback. So in the negative feedback, what happens? So the input resistance is increased by the factor 1 plus A beta. So that is high input impedance which is desired. Since the derivation above does not depend on the method of sampling, so it follows that relationship between RIF and Ri is a function only of method of mixing. It is the function only of method of mixing the two signals. Since the feedback voltage Vf subtract from the Vs, we know that, so that is Xi is equal to Xs minus Xf. So Vf subtracted from the source signal Vs, the voltage that appears at Ri, that is Vi, becomes the quite small. So why? Because Vi is equal to Vs minus Vf, so Vi will be quite small. So Vi is equal to what? The applied signal divided by amount of feedback. So Vs divided by 1 plus A beta. Thus the input signal Ii becomes correspondingly small and the resistance seen by Vs becomes large. So finally it should be pointed that in the expression 8.17 can be generalized to the form. So this expression can be realized in this form, that is ZIF is equal to Z of S divided by 1 plus A beta, A of S into beta of S. That is function of S. They are given, instead of calling it as a resistance, they are call it as an impedance of the network. That is, so instead of calling it as RIF, now we call it as a ZIF. Okay. So this is the measuring of output resistance circuit diagram. How to measure the output resistance. To find the output resistance of the feedback amplifier, we reduced Vs source to 0 and apply a test voltage Vt at the output. So the source voltage is taken as 0. At the output side, we are applying the test voltage in order to measure the output resistance R0. Okay. So ROF can be found as the test voltage divided by current, Vt divided by I. So from this diagram we can write I is equal to, so by applying the equations, so we can write I is equal to, so when we equate this, so it is Vt minus, I can be written as difference in voltage. Okay, Vt minus AV1 divided by the resistance R0. So we can write I is equal to Vt minus AVI divided by R0. And since Vs is equal to 0, it follows that from the equation Vi is equal to minus Vf, that is equal to beta into V0. So it can be written as minus beta into, because output voltage is the test voltage. So we can write I as, now, so here we are applying in that place test voltage itself, Vt plus A beta into Vt divided by R0. So therefore we can write ROF as R0 divided by 1 plus A beta. So here at the output side, whereas the resistance is reduced, so whereas at the input side we saw that the resistance is increased. So in general form we can write that impedance of the circuit is decreased, whereas at the output side, whereas impedance of the circuit is increased at the input side, because here it is divided by 1 plus A beta, divided by amount of feedback. So what happens? Output resistance is reduced by the factor equal to amount of feedback. So next discussion is series feedback amplifier circuit.